Dr. Vickers is checking your vitals. He's checking your blood pressure.
See? All of it's there. Never felt better.
All is well. It's quite a miraculous recovery. We haven't invented penicillin yet.
He's in God's hands.
All in all, I think the bullet might have shaken a few things loose.
Such as?
Oh, I had this.
Is this something I need to be checking on?
No, it's just, gives you perspective on things, feeling fit as a fiddle. Hell, could probably leave today if that was
I'd like to
on
give
the
it
books.
1 or 2 more days. However, I think
On the subject of books.
we'll see how your physical therapy goes today. Walking about, stretching. We'll have to be careful with the stitches.
Oh, yes, of course.
We'll see
Careful
how-
as custard.
See how it goes today, and we'll reassess this tomorrow. And he slots your chart back at the foot of the bed. He's carrying a clipboard, and he makes to leave.
Well, I think we could probably squeeze a few hours of Bible in. I've really been relishing the opportunity to finally get around to reading this book. I'm intrigued to know how it ends.
Has a bit of a downer ending.
don't ruin it.
Oh, okay.
No spoilers.
I think that there is mystery afoot and
If he's
people
about to read the
in
book.
danger.
I might just walk out of the room to catch up with the doctor.
Okay.
So fade away.
The droning voice fades behind you.
Fear not, O Jacob, my servant. As on the streams dry
Doctor.
ground.
I'm slightly concerned about
Yes.
Ezekiel. He's been ranting about skeleton shadows and he doesn't know who the president is anymore. And
I'm sorry. Sorry, ranting about what?
shadow
Did you say?
shadow creatures in the hospital looking at
creatures.
patients.
Very unusual.
You've never.
He hasn't heard those ridiculous stories the nurses use to scare the trainees.
I hope it's just that, and it's not mental decline. He hasn't got much to decline from. It's not a good starting point.
So, are you asking if he's
Yeah.
seen anything odd about the hospital? He hasn't seen anything odd. He's heard the rumors, but Arkham has, as you know, I mean, has your character lived here all his life, or has he moved in recent
For a while.
For a while.
Yeah.
I'm sure, having lived in Arkham for the amount of time that you have, you've heard the rumours. I mean, Arkham's full of strange stories. Witch covens, shadow men in the hospital.
Good. You've put my mind at ease. Thank you, Doctor.
I rather thought those rumours had gone away. I haven't heard of them for some time. Must be a resurgence. And it says, yeah, and he says he sort of has rounds to make if there isn't anything else.
No, thank you, Doctor. I'm going to wander back.
Yeah. Let them bring them and tell what is happening.
Oh. Marvellous. I
Do they
feel closer to God already.
Do they serve breakfast here?
They do. The nurses would have brought your breakfast in.
I'm
Just
eating
one
it
of
then.
them.
I've also I've been bringing you grave flowers every day.
Grave flowers.
Yeah, I just pick up some flowers on the way out of the church I assume I live in.
Yeah, it's probably an attached graveyard. Clarence Whitaker was.
Somebody's put flowers out there and the dead don't need them.
Do we live in churches?
Yeah.
Like next just sleeping on like the altar.
Yeah. I sleep on the altar.
You do that really dramatic vampire rise.
Yeah, every Sunday everyone comes in while I'm still asleep and I just sit bolt upright and start preaching. They don't realise I've been there for the past 6.5 days.
Leonard. We should possibly begin our investigations, yes?
Into the shadows?
Into, yes, anything.
I mean, if it gets you up and walking.
Between you and
can't do any
me,
harm.
if he keeps on speaking, I'll be closer to God.
That's
All the way, if you get what I mean. Dead.
Well, let's walk you around the hospital. You can.
So the immediate picture that springs into my mind is you in your hospital gown, very fetching. You sort of nearby in case he needs an arm, and Preacher Jonas trailing 4 steps behind, reading from his Bible.
No, I think I would peel off very quickly. If I see someone who I think is on their way out, I will peel off and just start doing the last rites.
All right.
God,
One more soul for God.
Yeah.
I think maybe the nurses will be glad when you're discharged as well.
I don't know what the last rites are, but it's a sort of on Nominate Padre starts splashing them with water and stuff, like the whole rigmarole.
Okay,
Excellent.
so emergency
And also
services,
eating
the
their
places where your
breakfast.
surgery would have been was on the first floor, the ground floor. You have since been moved to the second floor where less serious cases are housed. Probably not seeing many people on their way out. Maybe there's 1 or 2. Third floor is
Just
like
old.
maternity, and then fourth floor is offices. There's some office space on the third floor with maternity.
Okay. So, what should we investigate first? I was thinking perhaps the young women who'd seen these things firsthand.
Right, just want to go and investigate young women. Yeah. And,
So you have-
insist you put some trousers on. I don't think the investigation is going to go very well. Be pointing at everyone like that.
Well, if you insist. Now, turn around.
So are you looking for Mary Leeds, who was the first lead given
Mary
to you?
Lead.
Mary Leeds, as in
Like
in
the
town.
city.
Yeah.
See.
So she's quite a young nurse, dark hair. She seemed quite competent and normally very quiet. She kind of just goes about her duties. So you sort of track her down in the halls as she's finishing the breakfast round, sort of bringing breakfast to patients. And she says, "Oh, Mr. Carter, but you're doing so well on your physical therapy. No pain, I trust."
Oh, none whatsoever. Absolutely fit as a fiddle, says, leaning heavily on his on his cane. In fact, funny thing I should walk into you. Well, you know what I mean. I was wondering if I could ask you a few questions.
Certainly, yes. She continues. So you walk with her, and she continues handing out the last.
Yeah, I'm definitely
few trays.
slowing her down in her rounds. But, and so, yeah, I was wondering if I could ask you a few questions about the creatures you've perhaps seen.
She's. Oh, please keep your voice down. I assume it was Esther LaRue who told you.
But,
I told her that in confidence, but I guess if she told you, she must trust you.
indeed, a secret shared with me is a secret I'll take to the grave.
You did immediately tell me.
Why?
I'm telling other people now as well.
You're my lawyer. It's
Telling your lawyer and your priest is probably
yeah.
Two people who should keep a secret.
Of course, I thought it was just the older nurses trying to scare me because I'm one of the trainees. But I'm quite certain of what I saw.
Would you be able to go into any more detail about what you saw?
Yes, would you just tell that preacher to stop telling? Stop spreading it?
I'll get right on that.
In fairness, the guy I'm telling is in a coma.
Okay.
Jonas, I believe your sermon is falling on deaf ears.
Ears are never completely deaf until death. I'm pretty sure Jesus said that.
Well, that doesn't sound right. But I don't really know enough about Jesus to disagree.
Maybe if you let us finish this book, we'd know.
Okay, so she tells you that a few weeks ago, she was finishing her shift. She finishes in the evening. She was drawing blood from a patient. And she finished drawing the blood. She bandaged from the extraction site, and she turned to leave the patient's room. And she tells you that she turned to flip the light switch off, and in the instant between reaching out to do it and looking back, she saw a shapeless black cloud hovering over the patient. And then the light went off, and she flicked it back on immediately, and the shape was gone.
Might I ask whether this hospital is fitted with electric or gas lights?
Electric. It's one of those very old-fashioned light switches.
Yeah. Sort of metal knobbly bit.
Yeah.
Did anything strange happen to the patient?
Well, yes, I sort of managed to convince myself it was just a trick of the light, because it was dark by that time. It was dark outside, just flicking the light off. There was sort of only the light from the hallway spilling in. But I'm certain of what I saw. And I probably would have forgotten completely about it, except poor Mr. Peterson died that very evening. And it was...
Had he been showing signs?
Very strange. He came in for routine checkups.
Oh.
He was complaining of the fact that he couldn't grip properly, which is of concern, but it certainly isn't life-threatening. So we were doing blood tests. We were going to do an X-ray if it came to that. And the results since came back, and they were completely normal. The blood test. Obviously, we couldn't X-ray him because he died.
Can you not X-ray the dead?
They don't make a practice of it.
Very well. Just interested.
You can just open them up.
I find the science is very
It's much easier.
entertaining.
I've been for about 5 X-rays.
It's not doing you good.
Oh no, it's the latest in medical science. It fixes you right up.
You look a mess.
Well, I was shot. I think it's mostly the bullet.
Well, possibly. X-rays can't heal the soul.
Well, there are some theories on that, actually.
Oh.
I've been reading some rather interesting literature on the matter, but I wouldn't want to bore you.
So, yes, she tells you that the patient was not exhibiting
ill.
life-threatening signs of illness. He was in for routine checkups, and he passed away very suddenly and
He was losing his grip on life.
That was terrible.
But, curious. Very curious. Have you heard of anything of this ilk before? Any demons?
I would say yes, probably a demon.
Right.
Almost certainly. Sounds like a classic a demon situation.
What would your suggestion be in that regard?
Oh, I think we should perform a whole bunch of religious ceremonies to cleanse the building, and I should perform exorcisms on everyone individually, one by one.
I'm afraid I can't allow you to do that. That would upset the patients.
And me.
How many people are in this hospital? How large is this hospital? Not specifically.
And the rest of the stream is just Chris doing one after the other.
God, I
She
hope somebody
thinks
stops
there
me.
are about 200 patients
200.
in the building. So, a little context. At this point in history, so call-out doctors are more common than coming into the hospital for treatment.
Healthy too.
So the patients here are probably wealthy and/or almost dying, because you don't often go into the hospital at this stage. It's very expensive to be cared for in-house.
I do have an observation to make about the clues that we have gathered so far. The doctor that you spoke to, he said that he thought the rumours had stopped for some time. I think maybe we should be looking for something that has either started or stopped recently that some time ago was also a thing. Like maybe if there's a specific patient who has arrived recently when the demons... Maybe he was possessed when he came in. He's been possessed for years, and sometimes he comes into the hospital and then goes out of the hospital.
I'm afraid we don't keep records like that.
Sorry, I completely forgot you were part of this conversation,
Okay,
dear.
so she takes the hint and she wanders.
The men are talking.
Wow.
Wow. You were just an
Remember-
NPC? It's about NPCs, not gender.
Remember not to exert yourself. It is good that you're exercising, but if you feel tired or you feel any pain, sit down or return to your room immediately. And with that, she continues with her duties. She takes the hint.
We should go and speak to.
Do you see what I have to deal with day in, day out, mollycoddling nonsense?
Must be awful.
You'd think I'd have lost 20 years of my life rather than a kidney.
You lost a kidney?
I have most of one.
But you did gain a bullet.
I'm pretty sure they removed those.
Nope, still in there. Apparently it was too close to the spine.
I do have
It moves ever closer day by day.
I do have to step in and say the bullet was removed
Okay.
during surgery.
Well, excellent.
It's part of the reason that the staff are so amazed by your recovery, because you survived an abdominal gunshot wound, surgery, and a massive infection, all without penicillin.
By God's grace.
Some certainly believe
Indeed.
that.
Maybe that is the.
I mean, it's probably.
I mean, he watches over all, and, well, I've been pretty good recently, so maybe this is a bit of a return for that.
As you're a lawyer, I know that not to be true. But if that's the story you want to give.
I've certainly been better.
As long as you've not shared any of the details with God himself.
It's all relative, I suppose. We should go look for the doctor who saw the.
Well, I was wondering whether we might speak to someone elderly enough that they would have been around when the last rumours were around. And the doctor was a rather senior member, wasn't he?
Ben.
Did we see him just now?
Matheson. No, it was a different one.
Oh, okay.
The nurse talked about two people that she trusted. Mary Leeds.
Who's
Who's the
young.
first lead.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
Ben Matheson.
Mhm.
That was
Who's an orderly.
an orderly. Sorry.
Isn't he? Yeah. Is he an elderly orderly?
I guess you'd have to
An elderly orderly.
find him
Hmm.
to find out. So you probably, it's a smaller hospital, even though it's big for the time, you probably would have encountered him at some point. And you know that he works mostly on the ground floor.
Okay.
Excellent.
Ooh, that's where all the surgery happens.
Stairs are somewhat of a problem at the moment, so that's good for me.
I'm sure they built hospitals with that in mind, right?
I've just realised that's probably an inconsistency. He works everywhere.
He's
Covers the
got.
whole hospital. Apologies.
So, we've had all of these reports. So the surgery was where it was seen. And this lady was flicking lights on and off. And
Just
just showed
off.
up. We don't know she wasn't just... Sometimes I get fascinated by electric lights, okay? And I just stand there for days flicking them on and off. I don't get a lot done as a priest. In between lunching at other people's houses.
Oh, I thought you were saying like as you.
Oh, no. I live in a world where electric lights are mundane, but I imagine in 1920s that was like the internet.
Plus everything had drugs in, so I suppose that.
Yeah. Just drinking your wine and cocaine and flicking the lights on and off.
Well, it's prohibition, isn't it?
Oh yeah, they've taken the wine out of the...
So priests
the
and
cocaine
doctors are able to get alcohol with a permit.
And me.
And you.
And
Not with a permit, but you
No.
are able to get alcohol.
I have my ways. A wink.
Do priests get alcohol because?
It's the communion.
Smart. So anyway, what I'm thinking is, do these locations, are they all in the same like bit of the hospital, or are they all over the hospital?
So Ezekiel's surgery would have been performed on the ground floor.
Okay.
You're not sure where Mary Leeds' patient was because you didn't ask, but you think
Burn that bridge.
maybe second floor where you are now,
Okay.
and then maternity and the nursery is on the third floor.
So,
Right.
all over the place.
All over the place, okay.
It's not a particular
Not
room
local.
or something. Well, I think, let's...
It might be worth looking into if
Let's go find the orderly.
yeah, if any of these things have anything in common, like a particular nurse or doctor who was present at all of the things. Or...
Okay.
Something to look into when we finally meet someone we can squeeze for deeds.